Welcome back to another insightful episode of Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast. I am, of course, your host with the most, Phil Better. And today we're diving deep into the transformational world of digital marketing, AI innovation, and strategic growth with a true industry leader. Our guest today is an executive powerhouse with over a decade and a half of experience in the digital marketing industry, a true OG, as he is the leader of Comrade Digital Marketing, trailblazing agency with offices across Chicago, Los Angeles, Miami, and of course, Europe. He's grown his team from just himself to over 70 experts, specializes in inbound marketing for the legal, home improvement, and healthcare sectors. With an average client ROI exceeding 600%. It's no wonder the agency has been celebrated on Inc. 5000's list and garnered, of course, just a few numerous marketing performance awards. But the achievements don't stop there. Since relocating to Florida to drive his agency's expansion, this innovator has harnessed technology and AI to supercharge operations. He's developed an AI-based lead qualification system with an 85% accuracy rate, saving over thousands of hours annually. By shifting the agency's focus to vertical specialization, he's unlocked new levels of scalability and expertise, redefining what's possible in the digital marketing. And of course, we're going to touch on all that. But beyond running a high performance agency, he's a thought leader who's passionate about helping businesses automate processes, identify growth opportunities, and optimize costs. Whether sharing insights on podcasts like Invest in Yourself, the Digital Entrepreneur Podcast, or transforming clients' outcomes, he's paving the way for the future of marketing innovations and entrepreneurs. So prepare to be inspired and empowered as we welcome the remarkable Ivan to the podcast. Ivan, thank you so much for being here.
Phil, what an introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, I like to, as my
and use it in my other episodes.
you are it is fair games. If you want to steal that or borrow that, I am okay with that. That helps my brand go out because people will get to know me as the person for intros. But Ivan,
this was probably the best intro I've ever been given, so I really appreciate it. You just made my day.
Great. That is done. The podcast is over, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Ivan, I'm excited. We matched over on Matchmaker, a great podcasting platform. So if you're thinking about podcasting or being a guest, go check out Matchmaker. But I saw your pitch, loved it, and I was like, I need to have you on because when you're touching on AI, which I love, you're helping businesses like in the small mom and pops to some of the bigger ones grow, which is amazing. And of course, you're an innovator. So like you hit all you're the trifecta of a guest. So I want to know what made you throw off the shackles of 9 to 5 and become this entrepreneur, become a comrade entrepreneur, if you will.
I love that too. Just framing. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Entrepreneur. That is so cool. Yeah, Phil, ever since I was a kid, I guess I found myself taking leadership roles in school and in after school activities. I guess it was always a part of who I was and who I am till this day. When I started working in digital marketing, I was in my 20s, early 20s. I spent time working for a few marketing agencies, bounced around, did coding myself, design websites, then was promoted to project manager. And then from there, I was managing other more strategic aspects of an agency, latest agency I was working on. But one thing was constantly coming to my mind, which was most of the agencies where I worked were focusing on much larger clients. And the small businesses were, for the most part, neglected. They were always overlooked. And, there was definitely an opportunity to service the small business niche. Because I felt like that's the area that was, overlooked, and that, if you can deliver the same white glove service, the same level of results to the community of small businesses. First of all, there are a lot more small businesses, right? Then you can scale up much faster. You can impact their lives. You can impact lives of the owners, of the team members that work for those businesses and of the families that depend on those small businesses to grow. And then those businesses are going to impact the community. So there goes your impact on the entire community, on the economy, on this world, on this country. So I felt like that was my calling when I started Comrade. At first, I was, it was accidental how I started my business. I was working for another agency, and in my community, people started asking me if I could help them code a website, do a little thing here and there, and that's how I got my first couple clients. But then, as we started growing, we started hiring people to help us with a few projects. When I say we, it was me and my business partner, Stan, who was initially together with me in this journey. Only when we were about three people, three full timers working for us, I finally decided that it's time for me to stop, working 9 to 5 and switch to my own calling, switch to my own agency. And I could not be happier. Entrepreneurship is definitely my calling, and I really, really appreciate the fact that I did that for multiple reasons. On the personal, on a personal level, I want to say that being an entrepreneur allows me to create the world that I want to live in. Right, it allows me to build my own dream, my own future. It helps me to create my lifestyle per se. Right. Um, it also helps me to express my creativity, which is very important for me as an individual, and execute on ideas that truly, truly excite me. Um, so very happy that that happened, and from sort of accidental, inception of the agency, I'm more so look at our expansion as a lot more systematic, and I had to learn how to become a much more effective manager uh, and much more effective entrepreneur. But yeah, very happy where I am right now.
I love it. I love how it's accidental because you were like, people are just asking for help and I was helping them. And then all of a sudden you're here, you realize that there's this whole market, a blue ocean, if you will, of mom and pops or small businesses that should have benefit from the white glove service because not easier, it's simpler now to provide that white glove service since the bigger companies have pretty much made the cost near zero, if you will, to get most of this done, and with AI automation as well helping out. Um, when you transition, because I'm obviously you started Comrade Digital Marketing, which is a fantastic name. I love it.
Thank you.
While you were in Europe, when you transition over to Florida, moving over to Florida, that's a huge culture shock as well, because you're going from a European mindset, which is more community based, if you will, to more an individual based mentality in society with the North American society that we live in. How was that transition from for you as not only being an immigrant, if you will, in the states, but also being a business owner and having to transition the mindset of that kind of business owner into a different world?
Oh yeah, Phil. I don't. I think I wasn't clear when when I transitioned when I actually immigrated to the U.S. I did not have a business yet.
Oh, okay. So
Um,
you
yeah,
immigrated and
I was, yeah, I was 19 when I
okay.
immigrated, and I started business somewhere around 22, 23 when I was 22, 23 years old.
My
Um,
apologies for that.
yeah, no
Okay.
worries at all. Yeah, but
So
I did study for computer and science, so that sort of gave me the leeway, the entrance to the technology world.
I love that. And as I mentioned, I guess we'll jump to the next question. And as I mentioned in the intro, you work with the legal, the home improvement uh, niches. How did you find those niches, or was that a development over time? Like you were servicing all these small businesses, and then you just saw a majority more come from these specific verticals, or did you intentionally go after those verticals to start with?
Yeah, great question. For the first, I don't know how many years, we were a generalist agency. I think when we measured, we worked with something like 42 different industries, which was super brutal. Marketing law firms versus marketing e-commerce companies versus marketing retail stores is so much different, and you can't be great at everything. You can't be best at everything. Let's put it this way. And I remember vividly when we were working with one of our advisor and coach, and we asked him one simple question: "Help us scale, help us become better, more efficient, and so on." He looked at us and he said, "Well, first thing you need to do is you need to only focus on being great at something. Let's either pick a niche or a specific individual service." So we did our deep analysis, and we uncovered that legal or law firm clients were already um, probably the biggest concentration of our clients in the pipeline. So that was naturally where we gravitated towards, because it was an easy shift for us because we had great case studies. We could build a separate brand around that, and we can specifically show why we're a good fit for law firms. Um, Home services is another sector where we have the second largest concentration of the clients, and it was on the back burner for quite some time until legal was fully working and fully under control. Um, then that's when we figured that it's time for us to expand in the home services, full time as well. And now we're doubling with healthcare. That's our sort of third niche that we're going to go into. Um, we have some great clients and great case studies in healthcare as well. But we also, another reason why we chose legal, I forgot to mention, is it's recession-proof industry.
People
Many
need
agencies,
lawyers.
right? People need lawyers, even if it's economy crashed tomorrow, just like it was in 2008. By the way, we started this company when it was 2008, so it was
Wow,
it was the best time
you
to start the business.
really trial by fire. You
Yeah,
decided, hey, hard. Well, if you can make it in hard times, you can obviously succeed in the good times, and you obviously showed that's possible. Expanding your team, developing these three industries as your key members while you expand. I want to touch on the expansion because
sure.
that's huge too, and an important part. Um, with your expansion into these different markets, right? You narrowed down on legal, made sure that you had, like you said, you made the process near perfect or as close as perfect as possible. There's always tweaks can be done. Then you decide, hey, we already have some good case studies in the home market, the home improvement market. Let's double down. Let's do what we did with legal here. Did you have trepidation in leaving what pretty much was a recession proof business going into a less recession proof business? Because home improvement businesses, they do have their ups and downs, like in 2000 with the housing crash. Roofers were hit, home improvement people,
Oh,
general
for sure.
contractors were hit. So now you're moving into this industry that isn't so recession proof.
Yeah,
Um, but when the recession is over, they rebound quite quickly.
quite quickly. You're right with that. And what we find is, you're right. Legal is, it's a safe bet, right? No matter what's going to happen with the economy, everyone will still need lawyer because injuries are injuries. You will get injured no matter what happens, right? So that helps us to definitely stay afloat. No matter what the case is going to be. We just had the election, so we're very curious how that's going to play around. Hoping it's going to be for the better, and hopefully it's not going to impact our core business legal. Now with home services, it's quite interesting because you're right. In 2008, majority of home service businesses, home improvement businesses, they got wiped out for a simple reason. No one could afford remodeling. No one was buying houses, and that's those two are the main drivers for that industry. Now, I think for the businesses that survived 2008, they're a lot smarter, and they've learned how to survive the next recession. So we actually, for some of our clients, this year, 2024, was sort of an interesting year because with the interest rates so high, there've been fewer real estate transactions. That meant fewer home improvement jobs. Now, some of our smarter clients, they were okay to invest even more in marketing because they knew that this would be the best time to capture additional market share, because some of their competitors who were living the game were dropping the marketing game completely. They were not comfortable investing because they were not sure how the future is going to pan out. But there's still business. People, some people still need remodeling, still need home services. So it is a strategy for some of our clients. Now, some of our clients are also in a little less recession proof, like plumbers, for instance. You would still need a plumber no matter what happens. But yeah, roofing, exterior, remodeling, and so on. It really depends on the clients and their risk appetite. Like I mentioned, some are totally okay being in this economic downturn right now because they know they're going to come out much stronger from it,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to capture more market share. And some are just a little more cautious.
I love that because it is true. Once we've been through a recession or mini down in the market, understand now is the time to be greedy when people are fearful and be fearful when people are greedy. I love that mentality. It's something I learned from the stock market podcast that I do. So, and
That's
like
awesome.
you reiterating it in business just means that okay, if it works in one industry, obviously the same can work in another. Just need to pretty it up.
Yeah.
um you're doing AI and you've using AI to like consistently smash these lead generations and accuracy for clients. um how did you, like, obviously when I'm guessing you got into the AI space when ChatGPT came out with their chat feature, or were you in the AI space beforehand?
A little beforehand. Yeah, we've learned that there's an AI space and it's going to be huge because of some of the capabilities that AI enables us, small sized businesses, from a technological perspective, right? So we started dabbling with AI a little before that, specifically in how can we automate some of our repeatable um, processes that can be automated. Um, so we've identified a few areas. We deployed a couple projects, and we were really, really impressed. In some cases, we were able to save, tens or hundreds of hours with very little code written, with little automation done, and that got us thinking, and that's where ChatGPT, got very big and very popular. Everyone saw an opportunity. Everyone saw how big it could be. How game how of a game changer that technology is, right? So we started um, building our internal tools with the implementation of AI. The one tool you just mentioned, I don't think your listeners would really understand what it means. So I'll try to explain it in very short term. So we, as a marketing company, we create marketing campaigns with the focus to drive leads, from those marketing campaigns to our clients, right? Usually, we create leads, through paid search or social media or search engine optimization. And whenever someone is in need of our client service or product, they would fill out a form, they would call our client, or they would start chatting with our client. So we've built an internal system that collects all of the transactions, all the conversations, qualifies it using AI, and then outputs how many marketing qualifieds our marketing campaigns are generating. So as opposed to looking through, let's say, 200, 300 contacts, and sometimes it's even more for some of our clients, you only look at highly um, um, forget the word.
Engaged.
Sorry, highly engaged. You're right. Highly qualified. I was looking for the qualified word. Prospects that are good fit for what you do, and The way our AI understands that they're qualified, it reads the transcript, it looks through specific keywords, and it understands what service you are looking for. If you're a repeat customer, then it'll put it in a separate column as a repeat customer, and what geography you're calling from, or you chatting from, or you filling out a form from. And then it gives you a tally of this is how many marketing qualifieds you need to look at and you need to have conversations with.
I love
That's
that.
how it works.
That is an amazing tool to have. Like having that just go through all the dirt, if you will, to find those gold clients that will, or at least the leads, that the prospecting, because I would love one for podcasting to go through all the amount of people who apply to be a guest on the podcast, because I would strategize, simplify my life. But understanding from a business perspective, like it's the Pareto principle. 80% of your problems come from
80,
20%.
80 20. Right,
Eighty
right.
20,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
Like, and you're helping them get to the 20% that will bring them 80% of their business by just
Exactly.
using AI, instead of focusing on the 80% that are going to bring you only a small percentage of your business. I This is astounding. With you playing around in this, how long did it take you to come up with the specific language or the coding? Because I don't want to go into how you built it, but getting it so that it could understand enough about someone's business to realize that these are qualified leads versus unqualified leads.
Um, the idea was born long, long time ago, and the first MVP was it actually did not take too long to build, and we were quite impressed with the result of the MVP, minimal viable product.
Hmm.
But then building the actual expendable system took us quite some time. I think it was 6 months in the making, particularly around making sure that AI output is consistent. As we started getting more data and different use cases, AI started to act up a little bit. So we had to come up with new ideas of how do we guardrail it, how do we come up with the specific system of using different prompts that will make it make the qualification more accurate than it was.
I love that.
Yeah, and most
With
importantly,
every
Phil, yeah, for us, sorry to interrupt, but for us, it saves us a lot of time because previously we had 3 full-time employees. They were specifically in charge of lead qualification. That was their job. And now we don't need them to be doing this manual input.
Yeah, this grunt work, they can focus on other things of
Other things, yeah,
taking the qualified leads that are there and going, okay, how can we make sure that this is a solid sale for our team, or
yeah,
for the business. I love that.
yeah,
And you're upscaling your employees as well, because they're no longer feeling like they're doing crap work, because we've all been there at one point in life,
yeah.
having that data mining job, if you will. Um, with everything you're doing, and you obviously look at how to improve businesses, and you're investing in improving those businesses. How do you go about investing in yourself and becoming a better version of yourself?
That is an excellent and a very interesting question for sure. I personally love to read business books. I read a lot. I listen to different podcasts, and I need that share of inspiration. And I usually get it from the mentors or from the people that I truly think are exceptional individuals that build amazing businesses. Among them, Tony Hsieh that built Zappos. I love his story. I love his business, the business that he built and the way, his principles as well. Phil Knight from Nike, he was an inspirational figure for me. Elon Musk with his amazing ideas and executions that led us to this transformational world that we're currently living in. And among them, there are many, many others. But the scalability truly comes. Well, are we talking about scalability for me as individual, or we're talking about
For
scalability
you as
for
an
company?
individual, as you as an individual, because obviously scaling a company, there is the blueprint for it. There's multiple different blueprints that you can take from, but investing in yourself and scaling yourself as an individual,
Yeah,
there are not that many blueprints because people tend to keep them hidden because they don't want more competition, if you will. So I like to know
yeah.
maybe just a bit of the blueprint that you take. You shared that you listen to podcasts and read a lot of books. Is there other things that you do to keep improving it yourself?
Yeah, yeah. So everything starts with annual goals. So at the end of each year, I sit down and I review my previous year, and I look at all my previous goals that I set up for myself, and I look how well I accomplished each of those goals. And all my goals are broken down into specific life sectors: being a business, financials, hobbies, family and friends, spiritual, sport, and education. Those are the main sectors that I usually have my goals broken down into. And then as I analyze and I reflect for how the last year was based on all the sectors, I put new goals for the next year, and I make them more aggressive. And sometimes I have to shift. I'm a huge proponent of the balance in life. I feel like, and that's my personal philosophy. If you doubling down on, let's say, business or finances, but you are not paying enough attention to education or sports, then that's going to give, right? Then you're going to suffer in that area. So I specifically make sure that I choose 5 or 6 top goals for each of the sectors. And sometimes it's super hard because in like education or in some other sectors, we would only have two. You can't really come up with other ideas or other goals. So I end up researching, I end up inspiring myself, I end up using ChatGPT and so on to get myself a few ideas of what else I could be doing to be a more to excel in those areas as well. And each quarter, I review those annual goals, and I remember, I remind myself, hey, look, you wanted to achieve this goals, but it doesn't look like you're actually there. So you need to, double down on that. You need to pay more attention this quarter or this month or whatever. And that's a super important routine for me. So I know that I need to invest in the activities in my sport life. I need to invest in education. I already mentioned that, reading the books, watching the podcasts, watching various inspirational movies, and reading the books about different businesses really helps. But then other sectors as well. What else? Mentorship. It's sort of been our tradition that we did have a few mentors that have been with our business for quite some time, and they help us from a professional to personal life as well. Sometimes I would ask them personal questions as well, and they would definitely help us with our personal development, and becoming the better leaders. What else? And then finally, I guess constant reflection on myself by doing various seminars for my internal team. For instance, currently I'm spearheading a new initiative called Coaching Session for How to Be a More Effective Manager. It's focused on our internal managers because I realized that each of our managers have little different standards. So I wanted to combine everything. And by building this course, I actually get a chance to reflect on how I do things and uncover some of the gaps within our thinking.
I love that. Those are some amazing uh, ways that our audience can take away if they're looking to improve different sectors of their life, looking at their life as a whole, instead of just one thing of like, oh, this is my hobby. No, you need to have different goals for different things. And yeah, obviously with education, it's sometimes a little difficult to come up with read more than 10 books a year,
Yeah.
uh, or take a couple courses. And coming
Yeah.
up with those ideas, like you said, using Chat GPT is a good tool to help you. Um, I want to look into the future here as we're winding down this interview. I want to know, where do you see yourself in 10 years? If we jump forward 10 years, where's Ivan? Where's Comrade Digital Marketing? Or is it Comrade, world domination at that point? What is the Comrade entrepreneur doing?
Yeah. Uh, on the company side, definitely want us to become one of the largest marketing agencies in the U.S. that focuses on small businesses. That's our calling. That's where I still want to drive our business. That's my vision, right? I envision that we're probably going to have multiple brands that are going to focus on specific individual niches, and we're going to double down. We're going to become exceptionally better at driving results for those clients. So it's growing, but ensuring that the quality of work is still stellar, right? Because many companies, when they scale up, unfortunately, they drop the ball and the quality drops. On the personal side of things, I'm just very excited about the next 10 years. And one thing I really want to accomplish for myself is to enjoy this journey as I have been enjoying it for the last however many years I've been spearheading Comrade. Um, I'm a very ambitious person. I have a lot of goals for myself and for this company. Um, so just staying, you know, this inspired and constantly remembering who I am and why I'm doing this is very, very much important for this. And I just want to become a better version of myself, I guess.
I love that. Oh, I look forward to having you back on the podcast in the future to see where you are. My comrade entrepreneur has landed, Ivan. Um, that's I'm going to put you as a contact, Conrad, our entrepreneur in my
I
contacts.
love that.
And please, if you go off using that, please feel free. I'll be
I
very,
will.
very
I
happy.
already wrote it down.
Excellent. I love that. But we are coming to the end, which again I dislike greatly because I'm having such a great time with you, Ivan. But I have your 10-year-old self here before you moved over to the US. You're spirited, you're a great guy. What advice would you love to be able to hand back to your 10-year-old self that you wish you got at 10 years old?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Well, for once, definitely stay curious. Definitely ask a lot of questions and be open for new things. It may seem a little scary, right, to be open to new things, but if you step out of your comfort zone, you will learn a lot more. What else comes to mind is observe what others are doing, understand, especially those that inspire you, right? Understand how did they become successful, what made them so successful. Um, Also, make it your habit to read and watch inspirational movies. Definitely, I would advise myself that. Make sure you envision, you dream big. Make sure you're not just focusing on the school or the college or whatever, meeting that girl, but focus on the big vision. Who do you want to see yourself as in the next 10, 20, 30 years, right? And then most importantly, little Ivan, a little 10-year-old, definitely make sure you surround yourself with really good friends, people that share the same drive and the same ambitions as you are, because they'll help you along the way.
I love it. That's some great advice. For our for little Ivan and bigger Ivan as well. I'm gonna jump off stage here, Ivan. I want you to let my audience know where they can find you, how they
Yep.
can see how Comrade Digital Marketing can help them if they're looking for some digital marketing or if they're looking for a mentorship from you. So the floor, sir, is yours.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need any help, I'm not only talking about business help, but if you have any questions about how to start a business, or maybe you're stuck currently and you need some inspirational ideas on how to scale up your business, you can always email me, and my email address is ivan@comradeweb.com. You can also find my information on our website, which is comradeweb.com, and I'll be happy to give back to the community.
Amazing. Ivan, thank you so much for being a guest here. It was a pleasure having you on, and just look forward to having you back on the podcast in the future.
Thank you, Phil. It was my pleasure as well, and I really enjoyed this conversation.
Excellent. To my audience, Make sure you check out the show notes down below to connect with our comrade entrepreneur himself, Ivan, and check out Comrade Digital Marketing if you have any digital marketing needs. The show notes will be chock full of all those links. And I want to thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Ivan, again for being here. And as always, remember to invest in yourself.